At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
Hey, good evening and welcome into TSSR Game Time Live coverage of West Prairie taking on Southeastern Volleyball. I know you haven't heard me much this season, folks, but I am here tonight under the watchful eye of John Burton, but he has homework, so he's elsewhere. Yeah, as I say, other assignments have been taking my time, but Mr. Will Phelps is joining me too, and we do want to thank JoJo's Gaming Parlor, offering the best gaming experience in the McDonough County area. Stop in for a cold drink and a chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Also on game nights, check out the TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH Events, live on the big screens. Come join your friends at JoJo's, located at 776 North Cole Street, Bushnell, and cheer the Spartans and Cyclones and Suns and others on to victory. Thank you for voting McDonough District Hospital Rehabilitation Center as best of the best in McDonough County. Let their experienced and dedicated sports medicine and rehabilitation staff show you why MDH has been voted best of the best in 2017, 18, 19, and again in 20. 3 convenient locations to serve you, 2 in Macomb and 1 in Bushnell. Long and storied rivalry here between the Southeastern Lady Suns and West Prairie / Colchester over the years. And I know Southeastern always seems like they have this one part of the schedule where, I just affectionately call it the meat grinder. They played Macomb very recently, I think like Thursday last week, played QND last night, and here they are playing West Prairie here tonight. So, Will, it's going to be a tough go for Southeastern. They've been one of the better teams in the area, but this kind of, this is where you really prove how good you're going to be.
Yeah, it seems they've gone through, not very rigorous, but at least like a constant, repetitious state of these games in these past weeks.
And for the Southeastern Lady Suns, Mr. Tim Kerr, the longtime head coach, one of the most fun post-game interviews you'll ever have. I always laugh. You put the mic in front, you point, and you walk away. No, Tim has done a phenomenal job with that program, and he's got to be counting up somewhere in the mid-600s in wins. And, of course, we'll be facing Caleb Hall and crew here this evening as they play here on this pink night. And they will be having the live auction, so if you're listening and you're on the way to the game, well, you need to get here. A lot of great prizes on hand I know they'll be doing, so we'll have a little longer gap in between the two games than we normally would, because they will be doing the live auction, all of that benefiting Linda's Fun, and a lot of great sponsors here of all the prizes. I know the Seed Box, Platinum Hair Salon, also a great group of folks donating a lot of great prizes for the auction. And again, if you can get in there, they're doing both silent auction and live auction. So if you can get in here for this Pink Night fundraiser. And both teams wearing pink, that won't be hard to figure out for the guy doing the broadcast. So that either one of
yeah. I mean, you'll be doing most of the talking, but
yeah, that's not confusing at all for the guy up above. But anyway, we'll figure it out here tonight as we go along, as the Cyclones and the Suns go at it. I know all in I guess, preview of Saturday, the Cyclones go down to Quincy to play at the Quincy tournament. I'm not sure, but Southeastern may be down there as well. I'm not exactly sure on that one. I'm remiss on my volleyball schedule. Girls junior high basketball has been taking the bulk of my time. And speaking of, segue alert, we will have junior high girls basketball going on tomorrow night at Scioto starting at 5:30. So if you want to see some good basketball action, come see us up at Scioto tomorrow night versus La Harpe Dallas City. And I will wet my whistle. If you are playing the home game, consume as we get ready again, celebrating a pink night. All the proceeds from tonight going to Linda's Fund here this evening. And these young ladies all getting together to play this. We'll get the starting lineups for you in just a moment. I got to give a big thank you to Mr. John. He came in here and got me all perfectly set up tonight because I was on the run from practice here this evening. Getting here, and so John, thanks for getting me set up this evening. Having slow, unreliable internet just doesn't cut it in 2023. MTC Communications offers lightning fast, reliable fiber internet, video, phone service, and camera systems to the McDonough, Henderson, and Hancock County areas. Visit mtc.crowdfiber.com to check your availability. Your farm is your legacy. As a leading farm insurer, Country Financial is here to help protect it. Call Brett Powell, your local country rep, at 309-652-3889 for a free quote today. Located in the heart of Walnut Grove and in business since 1974, Ryden Farm Supply can meet all your needs for LP, seed, fertilizer, and farm chemicals. Their LP service is unmatched in this area. As a customer, they will take care of you. Give them a call today at 309-772-3121 today. Just some of our sponsors here of West Prairie Sports on TSSR Game Time Live. And starting lineup here tonight for the JV Cyclones. Abby Starbuck will be the libero. It'll be Madeline Sullivan, Macy Branch, J.C. Reynoso, also Alexa Barkley, Madison Adams, and Kennedy Webster. For the Southeastern Lady Suns, it'll be Kara Stevens, Taylor Phelps, also Tegan Rigg, and I see that I'm going to have to check the numbers. Will, do you have different numbers than I do in that program?
Maybe I'll hand you it.
That's what happens when you give people shirts that don't have the appropriate numbers on them. Let's see, are these right? Nope, they're not either. We'll have to figure that. We will figure that out in between games, folks, because what they gave us is not what these young ladies have on here this evening. I do know Tegan Rigg, Kara Stevens, and Taylor Phelps. As Rigg will serve it out of bounds, it's 1-0 West Prairie. Cyclones will take the lead. Madeline Sullivan out. Mason Shipman comes in as Macy Branch goes back to serve. I believe number 9 is Jalen Van Beck, my guess. Serve comes up to here. Stevens with it. Down off to Webster and good, and that ties us up at 1 apiece. One tie, and serve off of Starbuck up to Branch. Set it up for Adams. Back row. In and good. And so it will be 2-1 West Prairie on the side out. Alexa Barkley, the serve, coming out of the left-hand side. Phelps will bring it up. Van Beck sets for Stevens, who will pound it back row. Barkley brings it up, and they'll set it for Webster. She'll hit it just across. Phelps underneath it, going to bring it through. Blocked off the net, and Rigg not able to get it. The big block there makes it 3-1 West Prairie. 3-1 Cyclones lead it here. Barkley brings it back row. Phelps going to bring it up front. They'll set for Stevens in the middle. Popped up, and Shipman trying to hit it back. Cannot do so. So it makes it 3-2. 1 point advantage here for West Prairie as Kara Stevens back to serve. Stevens winds, sends, brings it across, and right in front of Starbuck and good. We're tied up at 3 apiece. Stevens will eye it up again. Fires it across. Starbuck had to get it off the floor. Brought up, and they're going to whistle an illegal attack on Macy Branch. So Southeastern will take the lead at 4-3. Stevens serve again. Off Barkley, hit backward. Now Starbuck will bring it over. Rigg up underneath it. Van Beck to the outside to Phelps. Hits it back row and out of bounds. Tie score between the two now. And we're all even up here at 4-4. Abby Starbuck fires it through. Stevens takes it back row. They'll kick it to the outside. And that one kind of popped around and up. Bumped over by Shipman, and it hits the ceiling, so it'll make it 5-4. Southeastern. Phelps comes to it again. Screamed on back row. Starbuck brings it up. Branch to Reynoso. Tips it deep back row. Stevens is there. They'll look to the outside to Rigg. She'll tip, and Webster gets it on the run for West Prairie. Outside to Webster. That one through and in. And we stay tied up here at 5-5. Madeline Sullivan back to serve here for West Prairie. As we're tied up here at 5 apiece. Serve is through. Back row popped up. And now helped over to Stevens. Set through and saved back there by Reynoso. Popped up and tapped across. Barkley saves it again. Sullivan to the outside to Webster. Over to Stevens. Sullivan up with it. Barkley. Branch going to bring it across. Phelps takes it for Southeastern. Set to Rigg on the outside off the block. Sullivan pops it high. Branch hits it backwards, and Starbuck will bring it across. Stevens up with it. Outside, and that one hit through. West Prairie will play it. Tipped over. And set up now. Rigg on the outside. Drops it over. Webster saved by Sullivan. And across it goes again. Long rally there. Sullivan saves at the floor. Brought up. And Barkley sends it over. They'll set it again to Rigg on the outside. This time back row it is picked up. And then Webster brings it through. Set again in the middle. Tipped. Starbuck up with it to Webster. Tipped across and Rigg is there. Set out to Rigg again. This time back row in good. And that is the place where the West Prairie defense has some issues in either of those back corners. As they will serve off of Adams, or actually Barkley, and Southeastern finally takes the first 2-point lead of this first game. Serve again off of Webster. Sullivan up for Reynoso, blocked, but couldn't control it. 7-6, these two have played it awfully close here. Now Southeastern did win that JV tournament. West Prairie got fourth in that one. Serve by Webster into the back row. Up front, flipped it right into the hands of Barkley and down. She says, stay on your own side. All tied up here at 7. As they'll look to put West Prairie back into the advantage. Serve across. And no help there. Tegan Rigg was yelling help, and nobody came. So 8-7, a 1-point lead now for the Cyclones. Webster off of Rigg up to Stevens. Deep back row. Sullivan is there. Webster going to set it up for Sullivan for the attack. Popped up by Southeastern over to Rigg. Off of Webster to the back wall and down. And so we're tied up again. As I say, it's been the inchworm game. They've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Very evenly matched teams.
Yes, it has been. Popped up for Barkley. Rigg up underneath it. Van Beck going to bring it back to her. Tipped in the corner, and down it goes. Smart thinking there by Tegan Rigg. Again, I'm going to apologize. They have the pink night shirts, and they totally changed numbers on me. Screaming line drive through. Starbuck up, saved by Sullivan. Stevens pops it up. She'll get it back. taps it, saved by Webster. Jumped out to the net, and that one going to be called a lift. And Southeastern retakes a 2-point advantage. Serve going to come into the net, so right back it comes to West Prairie as Madison Adams will come back in. Serve by J.C. Reynoso off to Phelps, flipped across. Webster is there. They're going to set it outside for Barkley. Too long and out of bounds. And once again, Southeastern takes a 2-point lead. Reynoso out, coming in is Abby Starbuck. As Tegan Rigg will run it through. Up to the net, Sullivan pops it back. Tipped over, and Stevens is underneath it. They loaded up for Stevens in the middle. Dug by Webster. Back to Branch, who launches that long and out of bounds. And Southeastern takes our first 3-point lead of the evening. And now serve again off of Starbuck into the back row. They'll load it up. Set up for Rigg. Rigg, they flip it over the net. Stevens over to Phelps. She hits it off the block. Sullivan up with it to Barkley. Tipped over. And brought up. And is Stevens with a kiss off the blocks. And the Lady Suns take a 13-9 lead. We'll step aside as we have a timeout on the floor. It is 13-9 Southeastern on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
Skip adding detergent to every load with the Load and Go dispenser. Choose from models that hold enough for 20 to 40 loads. With select models even adding a second compartment for fabric softener. So clothes get the care they need, and you can skip adding detergent every time. The Load and Go dispenser, now available in 3 sizes. Brought to you by Whirlpool.
And Southeastern has taken a 5-point lead. Here this one, tipped across by Barkley. 14-9, Sullivan with it for West Prairie. They'll set it up for Branch. She'll lollipop it through. It'll be set to the outside to Taylor Phelps. She'll bring it across. Webster's up with it. Back across we go. They're going to load Stevens in the middle, and she'll just flip it. One hand saved by Barkley. Sullivan back across. Nobody home in the back row for Southeastern. That will put it down, make it 14-10. Mason Shipman will come in. Madeline Sullivan out for West Prairie. As Macy Branch will come into the back row. Branch pounds the serve across. Up front it comes, tipped back by Barkley. Rigg makes a one-hand save. Stevens sends it over. A nice save there by Rigg. Outside for Barkley. She'll go down the line, put it in and good. And here come the Cyclones. Make it 14-11, leads down to 3. Serve set on the outside. Phelps going to hammer it through, but way out of bounds. And it is 14-12. 2-point advantage here for Southeastern. Serve into the back row. They'll bring it out for Stevens. That one rejected. Rigg once again with a nice save on the run, but Southeastern can't get it crossed, and it is down to 14-13.
Our lead has definitely been diminished in these past minutes.
And really just the Cyclones, Will, just playing some really great defense.
Yeah, as we've seen with that past really long rally, we've seen their defense has been getting, beginning to get better, I would say.
Hit up over by Barkley. That one knocked backwards off the ceiling and down. And West Prairie has come all the way back to tie it up at 14 apiece. Serve by Branch coming across there. Set up for Stevens. Blocked again, and down it goes. West Prairie has taken the lead by 1.
Some of that defense we were talking about.
Rig up with it. Tipped across. Webster saves at the floor for the Cyclones. And now Barkley going to put it in, and man, they have looked good. The Cyclones take a 2-point lead. That is their first 2-point lead of the match. Serve through. They'll bring it up to Stevens. She'll tip it across. Drop at home and in. And a big stop there for Southeastern. Serve comes through, and we brought up for Barkley. Tipped. And now set to the side. Phelps going to bump it over. Starbuck takes it for the Cyclones. Tipped over by Adams. Phelps saves it there, and then sent through. And Starbuck mishits that one, so we're tied up at 16. Okay, and I think now I got the number things figured out. As tipped across, that one picked up by Van Beck. It has been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between these two teams.
Just a continuous game of catch.
Yep. Webster with it. Out for Barkley, and they're going to say that caught the corner. Painted the corner in the back, and makes it 18-17. Barkley pounds it through. Phelps able to take it. Van Beck up to Stevens. Tipped over and down. And it makes it 19-17. Stevens comes to it again, brings it off of Starbuck in the middle. They'll set it back for Adams. She'll hit it through the arms of Riley Smith and down. Reynoso in and Adams out for West Prairie in 19-18. Again, this has been, and Will, you got to be impressed, both teams playing really good defense.
Yeah, as we've seen, West Prairie is doing really well with close quarters right at the line of the net. Southeastern is doing really good with those last-minute saves when it's almost out.
And so we'll get a timeout here, 20-18 lead. We'll step aside. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Minimally invasive surgery offers a variety of benefits to the patient. We are now able to offer patients a variety of operations with small incisions rather than big open incisions. The surgeries that we can do now, minimally invasive, include bariatrics, hernia repair, colorectal surgeries, faster recovery, smaller incisions, faster time back to work.
And we are back here, 20-18. The Suns have the lead in this game, number one. As a serve coming across off of Webster. Starbuck up with it. Over the outside to Webster. Lobs it long, and that one Stevens. Phelps is trying to adjust, and Stevens got up and got it. Cuts it down to 20-19. 1 point advantage here. Madeline Sullivan will settle in, ready to send it on the way. 20-19, served by Sullivan in the back row. Phelps is up with it. Van Beck tried to flip it across, could not, and guess what? We're tied up again. That's the 5th or 6th tie we've had in this game number one. Serve screamed through, Phelps underneath it. Van Beck outside to Rigg, Rigg back row. Up with it is Starbuck. They bring it up to Webster. She'll tip it, and Southeastern able to get a hold of it. Good save by them. Fake to Reynoso, come to Webster, partially blocked. And set to the outside to Rigg. She'll flip it over. Sullivan is there. Barkley. And pounded over by Sullivan. Out of comes Van Beck over to Rigg off of Starbuck. Stevens going to set it outside. Rigg back row. Starbuck on the run with a save. And now Webster brings it across. Rigg to Van Beck. Tips it over. Reynoso takes it. Webster pops it high and Sullivan tips it over. Stevens gets it on the fly. Van Beck outside to Rigg. Will tip again. And now Sullivan sends it back. One-hand save by Stevens. Brought up and bumped through. Starbuck has it for West Prairie up to Reynoso. Blocked. Saved by Rigg, and then Phelps, they bump it over. Sullivan for Webster. That one too long and out, and that's the way those rallies usually go. Is they go till somebody makes a mistake.
And as we could see, more of the Suns' great defense back there.
Shayla Leisman comes in to serve it. She locks up, lets it go. Starbuck right there. They bring it up for Barkley. That'll hit the top of the net. And the lead's now 22-20, Lady Suns. Leisman again off Starbuck up to Sullivan. She'll send it long. Stevens there. Van Beck outside for Rigg. Back row a little bit too long and out. And once again, the Cyclones have a chance again. All right, now I got corrected. 6 is Adriana Starks. Thank you for all the fans out there. As for Southeastern, I should say. And that one tipped out of bounds by Barkley. So again, I'll say thank you, fans out there, for trying to keep me straight on that. That's what happens when you have a lot of these special nights like that. They start switching numbers around. Wilcox with it. Off of Webster. They set it in the middle for Reynoso. Saved across and drops right in a group. The middle of the Cyclone. 24-21 game point here for Southeastern. Serve off of Webster up to the net. Rigg pounds it down. Up with Sullivan. Reynoso back row. Starks now to Phelps. Van Beck sends it over. Sullivan loads it out to Adams. Save, no good. And the Suns give it up over. And back with it comes J.C. Reynoso. Serve. Stark's going to bring it up front. Tipped over by Stevens. Set outside. It is Barkley tipping it over. And Beck's there. They'll help it up. And then Stevens sends it over. Webster is underneath it. Sullivan outside. Barkley. Dug by Stark's back row. Stevens pops it high. Phelps bumps it over. They'll load it again. Sullivan brings it across. Tap across. Branch back with it. Phelps up. Loaded for Rigg. She'll tip, and that's game one in the book as the Lady Suns take it home in a hard-fought 25-21 win over the West Prairie Cyclones. So we'll be back in just a minute for game number 2 of the match. This is TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
Find the right cycle combinations. Simply choose what and how you want to wash and dry to help keep clothes looking their best. Intuitive controls, brought to you by Whirlpool.
Welcome back here as we get ready for game number 2 of the match. And the Lady Suns have the advantage, 1-0. Do want to thank some of our very fine sponsors here on TSSR Game Time Live. As we go along on this, it's been, been a while. Will's been here, but I have not. I've been in and out and all over the place.
I'm a seasoned veteran at this.
Yes, you are. Face-to-face or over the phone or by email or by text. You choose how you do business with Tom Conklin, State Farm, Macomb. You can reach them at 309-837-1200 or visit them online at www.macombsf.com. Better yet, stop in and get your quote today at 1221 West Jackson Street in Macomb. Pawn Plus is proud to have served Macomb and the surrounding area for over 20 years, providing cash for most items of value. Pawn Plus is the area's largest seller of used items, including firearms. They also provide on-site jewelry repairs and are open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday. They have a great selection of jewelry, electronics, tools, and video games located at 324 West Jackson Street in Macomb between Airco and Taco Bell. Yes, Taylor. I don't. Okay. Just doing some shopkeeping there a little bit. Here is the live auction going on here, and I'm not sure whether it's before the game, after the game, during the game, beside the game, or whatever. Starks with it. We'll send it over, bring it over to Steven. She'll hit it off of Branch. And I'm going to hope I identify these girls right, folks. You can definitely let me know as Kara Stevens drops that one in. Please let me know if I'm misidentifying anybody. We had a bunch of jersey switch-arounds with this being pink night. And I'll get the line for you in a moment. Riggs screams one at Starbuck. 1-0. Shipman going to lob it high, and underneath it is Riggs. Van Beck over to Phelps, hits it back row off Starbuck. Popped up there over to Barkley. Set up for Stevens. She'll hammer it down. Starbuck up with it, but into the net. And Barkley not able to get it, so it's 2-0 Lady Suns. Served by Rigg. The line drive off of Barkley. Up it comes, tipped over by Adams. Now set to the outside. Phelps will bring it back row. Starbuck underneath it. Loaded up for Barkley. That one's going to be good, and the Cyclones are on the board. Lineup for Southeastern, it is Starks. Also Wilcox, Van Beck, Phelps, Stevens, and Rigg. Serve off of Wilcox up to Stevens. She'll hammer it. Branch recovers it, and Riggs got it. They'll load Kara Stevens again. She'll drop it. Webster not able to get to it, and it makes it a 3-1 Southeastern lead. Serve comes through. Up it'll come. Now they'll work it. Adams, that one going to be 4 hits. Did not get across. And the recommended daily allowance of 3 hits. As it is 4-1 Southeastern. Serve through, taken by Starbuck. They loaded up for Barkley. High, deep, and generally unplayable. And it makes it 5-1. Van Beck will come back once again. Serve to Barkley. They loaded up. Adams across with it. Dumps it in the middle of the solar system, I guess is the best thing you call it. Would that be a collective noun for the Suns, Will? Or
I would guess so.
A solar system of suns. Say that about 20 times fast.
A little too hot for my liking.
There you go. Knocked through by Arthur, set up at the net for Reynoso. She'll tap it over for the Cyclones. Suns load. It is Stevens off of Barkley. Branch pops it high. Barkley going to bump it through, and Rigg takes it at the back line. Here it comes to Stevens. Unloads, paints the back line, and good.
Seems we have almost a repeat of last game with already a 4-point lead for the Suns.
As they're starting to take a little bit of control here. And now checking in for Southeastern, Riley Smith. Serve back row. They load it up to the front. Branch gets it out of the net. Webster brings it through. And Stevens is underneath it. Loaded outside. Taylor Phelps puts it in and good against her former teammates. And that makes it 7-2. Southeastern pulling away in this game number 2. Stevens off of Webster. Branch tries to help it out. Barkley sends it across, and Southeastern will load. Phelps out with it, blocked, tipped up, and then sent over. That one tipped off the net. Shipman's going to send it back row. Saved by Stevens. Helped out by Van Beck, and then tapped over by Arthur. Played by West Prairie. Webster into it, off the blocks. Stevens takes. Van Beck helps it out, and then Stevens will pound it through. Starbuck is there. Branch for Reynoso. Dug by Stevens. Popped up in the middle, and then bumped over by Van Beck. Barkley on the run, and Branch and Reynoso couldn't figure out who got it, so it is 8-2. The lead out to 6 now for the Suns in this game number 2. Do want to thank more of our fine sponsors of TSSR Game Time Live here. Like folks like JoJo's Gaming Parlor, offering the best gaming experience in the McDonough County area. Stop in for a cold drink and a chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Check out the TSSR Game Time presented by MDH Events, live on the big screens. Come join your friends at JoJo's, located at 776 North Cole Street, Bushnell, and cheer these Cyclones, Spartans, Suns on to victory. Stevens back once again to serve it here. Ready to send off of Barkley in the back row. Branch for Reynoso, and a little bit of a timing error. And it makes it 9-2 Southeastern. Lady Suns jumping ahead. Served by Kara Stevens again, coming off of Starbuck. Branch up for Reynoso, blocked, but knocked into the wall by Smith. So it is 9-2. Madeline Sullivan back for West Prairie, trying to cut into a 7-point lead.
6 point.
Oh, 6 point. Yes, it would be 9-3. Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
Serve off of Phelps. Up it comes for Smith. Tipped over, and Sullivan takes it. Barkley for Sullivan, the back row attack, and Riggs going to bring it up. Van Beck outside for Phelps. That one brought across. Barkley is up underneath it. Loaded up for Webster. Hits that one into the net. And a touchdown lead for the Suns. And, of course, the co-op battle as well, because these two co-op for football, as seen here on TSSR. Phelps with the serve off Starbuck to Sullivan. Set back row attack by Barkley. Drops it in for a Tom Conklin State Farm kill. And makes it 10-4 valued companion.
Still that mountainous lead that they have to break through there.
Well, as Confucius would say, longest journey begins with the smallest step. As Southeastern works, Smith going to bump it across. Webster's got it for West Prairie. Tipped over by Sullivan, saved by Rigg. And loaded up at the net. Branch going to tap it through. Van Beck to Rigg. Block off the shoulder of Branch and down. Another Tom Conklin State Farm kill. And it makes it 11-4. Starks will come back in. And her serve, low line drive. Starbuck able to get to it. Little confusion. Starbuck has to help it across. Now Van Beck taps it up and over. Webster over to Branch. She'll lob it back row. Ooh, it caught the back line. I wasn't sure there. So Starbuck will go out. Adams will come in. J.C. Reynoso to serve. Reynoso serve. That one going to go well out of bounds, and it is 12-5. Starbuck will replace J.C. Reynoso, and back will come to serve Morgan Wilcox. Serve off Starbuck, back up to the net. Stevens going to poke it down, and finally West Prairie able to get it back. One-hand try by Webster, couldn't get to it. And it is 13-5. Southeastern blowing this open in game number 2. Serve again, pounded off of Barkley. Sullivan on the run, up to Barkley. Starks has it in the back row. Up for Phelps to tip. And played by West Prairie, set on the outside. Sullivan. Back there by Wilcox. Up for Stevens, just had to kind of tip it over. And now they'll set it for Branch. Lobs it back row off the arms of Wilcox and down. Is 13-6. Mason Shipman in, Madeline Sullivan out for West Prairie. Macy Branch will serve it here for the Cyclones. Serve to Phelps, off of Van Beck, over for Stevens, and Barkley is there. They'll load it up, bring it across. Shipman at it back row, and Starks took it. I'm not sure, that one might not have been out had she left that one alone, Will.
Yeah. See, it was teetering on the line right there.
Phelps receives the serve for Southeastern, up to Stevens, back row. Starbuck is there. And now up to the net. Barkley going to hammer it. Starks off the ceiling. Phelps going to help it out. Bumped across and played up at the net. Branch gets it out of there. Shipman brings it across. Kept up by Wilcox. She'll bump it through. And Starbuck takes in the back row. Barkley over and across with it. Starks having trouble. So the lead's down to 5 at 13-8. West Prairie putting on a run here. As Branch lets it go. Up to Stevens. That one off Starbuck and down. And it makes it 14-8. 14-8. Southeastern trying to retake control. Take this one home in 2. As she'll serve it to Branch outside Barkley. That one dug by Wilcox across and over. Set out, tipped. And now set up for Phelps on the outside. Shilbert it. Shipman, Barkley over with it. And now up to Stevens, who'll hammer it. Webster takes it. Branch to Webster. That one will go into the net. And it is 15-8. The lead back out to 7. Tegan Riggs serves it to Starbuck. Tipped around. Barkley going to bring it over. Set up for the middle. Barkley, though, backing up as she went to hit it. Hammers it straight into the net. It is 16-8. And we've got a timeout called here by Drew Schneider and West Prairie will step aside. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
I chose MDH. We moved here, and I was researching different places that would allow me to VBAC, have a vaginal birth after C-section, and the doctors here do encourage that, and so I chose that after looking online, and I wouldn't want to deliver anywhere else because they all go above and beyond, and they're so kind and actually care about you.
And sorry, Greg fell asleep there for a second. Served by Rigg, gonna go right between two Cyclones and down. And that makes it 17-8. Served by Tegan Rigg. This one's screaming over at Webster. Starbuck will help it out, and Shipman trying to hit it, cut it cross court. Mishits that one, and it'll make it 18-8. I say Southeastern really opening it up here in this game number 2. Serve off of Webster. That one going backwards, and it is 19-8. Madeline Sullivan will sub in. Mason Shipman will take a seat. Tegan Rigg back again, trying to drive the bus home here. Serve across off of Starbuck. Set for Barkley. She'll tip, and Riggs right underneath it. Van Beck tips it across. Branch up with it over to Sullivan. Dug up by Wilcox. He'll set for Kara Stevens. She'll pound it. And Starbuck is there. Over for Sullivan. Now up, they'll flip it, and Tipped around, not sure somebody was in the net. That one hit up in the air by Phelps, saved by Barkley, but saved backward by Sullivan. It's hit across by Starbuck. Up to the net again, flipped over. Sullivan with it and able to drop it home and in. It is 19-9. (19-9), 10-point lead here. Serve coming through. Alexa Barkley sending it back row. Up it comes. Stevens drops it in and good. In the back line, 20-9 is the lead here for Southeastern. 5 away from closing out. Starks goes out as Arthur going to come in. Serve across off of Barkley up to the net. And Sullivan hit it the wrong way. You could tell she knew it came off her hand sideways when she went to get it. 21-9. Southeastern 4 away from closing this one out. Serve up to Branch. Sullivan will pound it through. Rigg is up with it. Van Beck. And that one going to go across the net. Adams able to send it back and down. Cut the lead to 21-10. Starbuck will send it through. Popped up to the net. And then Arthur going to roll it off the top of the block. Kennedy Webster takes it on the dig. Sent over by Sullivan and out of bounds it goes. It is 22-10. Kara Stevens will serve here. Coming back in, it is Smith, placing Wilcox. Kara Stevens loads it across. They bring it to Barkley. Branch going to load for Reynoso in the middle. She'll tip, and Phelps is up with it. Set up for Smith. She'll send it across. Sullivan up with it. Tipped again. Reynoso sends it back. And now Van Beck over to Phelps. Tips it to Webster. Branch going to load her up on the outside. Hits it into the net. And that'll be 23-10. 13-point lead here. As Kara Stevens will stand back here. Ready to let it go on away. Trying to close it out. Serve off of Barkley. Back set, Madeline Sullivan. Dug by Stevens in the back row. Van Beck's going to bring it up to Phelps. She'll pound it across, and down it goes through the box. Game end or match point for the Lady Suns. And Kara Stevens will serve. Stevens. Line drive, Barkley is there. Brandt's going to just tip it over. Kept alive by Smith, but that one's going to be called a lift. Kind of held on to it. She got it. Madeline Sullivan will slap dribble it, ready to let it go. Serves off of Rigg. Flipped over, and Sullivan's got it. And they're going to whistle an illegal attack on Van Beck, it was. And that's going to bring Madeline Sullivan back to serve. 24-11. Or 12, rather. Serve to Stevens. Van Beck up with it. Tipped over by Arthur, and Starbuck's got it. They flip it outside to Webster. That one out of bounds, and Southeastern takes it home in at 2 as they make it a two-game run, 25-21, 25-12 to take this match home in 2. And of course, we'll have the varsity contest coming up for you in just a little bit as we have the Pink Night activities going on here for West Prairie. As they will get it together. Not sure exactly how the night's going to go, but we will see as we get loaded up here. We'll step aside here. This has been TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH.